Welcome to Physicians Keepers. Each episode features honest conversations with physicians, sharing moments that shaped them, challenged them, or taught them something worth passing on. These stories come from every corner of a physician's life: the clinic, OR, family, finances, mental health, leadership, and personal growth. If a story can help another doctor feel seen or strengthened, it belongs here. It's about honesty, courage, and community true storytelling. If you are looking for connection or a reminder that you are not alone in navigating this profession, you are in the right place. Hello and welcome to another episode of Physicians Keepers. I'm so excited to have you here. If you are watching on YouTube, which I'm sure if you are, you'd be kind of confused right now what you're seeing. If you're listening on the podcast, you may want to sign into YouTube to have a visual. And we are matching today because of one of the important things we're going to discuss. But today I have with me Dr. Vanessa Gavin-Headen, and thank you so much, Dr. Vanessa, for taking out the time today with Physicians Keepers to share your story. It's an amazing one. And so you want to put your listening ears on so we can actually just go through Dr. Vanessa's journey. And I assure you that you would be inspired at her journey. So I'm going to go ahead and read her bio today if you are listening. So Dr. Vanessa, she's an MD, family physician, and a clothing designer. She is the founder of Valmasi Scrubs, and these are scrubs designed with curvy women in mind. She did public health at UCLA, and she went to UCLA Medical School. She has practiced for 26 years as a family physician in Long Beach, California, before deciding to pursue her dream of being a clothing designer. So, quite a journey, Dr. Vanessa. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Ali. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it is a journey. But life is a journey. If you have opportunities that come your way, you just
Yeah.
got to take them. And that's the way I was feeling when I decided I'm going to do this.
Now, based on what you shared in the initial call out when I put in, the email, you said you originally wanted to be a clothing designer, not a physician. But what drew you to that path as a young child? Like, why clothing designer?
My mother taught me how to sew when I was 8 years old,
Oh, wow.
and it was just, I just loved it. I just loved the sewing. I loved colors. I loved fabric. I liked creating something.
Yeah.
That was my happy place. I mean, I could sew for hours and be totally happy.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you had that initial background and exposure. And at some time in your life, you met a mentor. And
I
can
did.
you tell us that story and how that kind of shifted gears for you a little bit?
Sure. When I went to college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I said, well, I like science, so I'll be a
Yeah,
biology major.
yeah,
Okay. Everyone wanted to go to medical school, and I just said, I'm not feeling that.
yeah,
And I got a presentation on public health, and I said, oh, this is interesting. I
yeah,
decided to get a master's in public health. So while I was in my master's program, I met my mentor. She was already a physician, she's like 10 years older than me. So
yeah,
she was coming back to get her MPH. And she talked to me and she said, we need more Black female physicians. You can do this. This is what I do as a family physician. I mean, she just every day, she's like, you need to do this, you need to go to medical school. And she was very cool and
yeah,
she's awesome. So because of that, I said, yeah, I want to be awesome like her. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna go to medical school. So I, went home, because my parents were in Northern California. So I went home and said, I'm going to medical school. They're like, wait, what? But they knew that with the conviction in my voice, they
Yeah,
said she's decided that's what she's going to do. So I started studying for the MCAT.
yeah,
I worked for a year in public health
yeah.
and took the MCAT and applied and went back to UCLA for med school.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it sounds like your mentor had such a great impact in your life for her to kind of give you a focus and all of a sudden you just ran with it. Now, just based on at that time when I mean, you started, now you get into med school and you transition, did you feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing now? Like when you finally understood the gravity of everything it took to study medicine, did you feel
Yes.
like, should I not have, or this is where I need to be?
So the funny thing is, even once I started my public health, my master's,
Yeah.
as I was in the middle of the master's program, I'm going, how am I going to be a clothing designer if I'm doing this master's degree? I'm like, how is this going to work? So I think finally, once I got through medical school and I'm in residency and doing that thing, I said, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is good. I'm enjoying it. But something in me, I mean, it was my second year residency. I
Yeah.
said, I'm not doing this till I'm 65. I was like, I am not. I'm going to plan to get out before 65 and figure out what it is I'm going to do because it won't be this.
That is amazing. And so in between that, so you started practicing, I mean, then you become a family business physician, which thank you so much. I'm primary care too. So thank you so much for all the work you do, because I do understand based on the work I
Yes.
do. Um, when did you then decide that, okay, I think I've done what I need to do in medicine and I need to focus on this dream and this passion that I've had for so long? Like, when did that shift come?
I think it was probably mid-career, so I don't know how old you are, but I was probably in my mid 40s. And then you start thinking back because when you're in medical school and residency training, everything you do is medicine, medicine,
Yeah, yeah,
medicine, and that's
yeah,
it. So I realized probably mid-career, I said, you know what? Everything I do is medicine. What did Vanessa used to do? Who am I? I had to kind of retrain and go back and remember. And I went, oh yeah, I wanted to be a clothing designer and I like to
yeah,
sew. So it was mid-career when it started to come back because I realized there
yeah,
has to be more to life than just working as a doctor, and even
yeah,
other people probably say, what are you talking about? You still have to be you.
yeah, yeah,
So that's when I realized, okay, when I retire, I'm going to go back to that, but I didn't know what form it was. I just knew that I had to get that back. So I started sewing again. I started getting back into that whole thing because I needed something to release the stress
yeah, yeah.
from work.
So
So
that
that's
was your
when that's when it started to come back, it took a while for it to take this form, but
yeah.
yeah,
Now, you mentioned something in the introduction that you sent to me. You said that God told you that you could be a clothing designer, but that you had to be a doctor first.
right.
Um, what do you think that season of waiting and preparation meant for you while
Yeah.
you had this dream and God is like, yeah, but you need to do this first? Like, what did that, now that you're where you are, what do you think it meant for you back then?
Well, back then I didn't understand the mission. I
Yeah.
just this is what I'm doing. And always in hindsight, you have
Mhm.
to look back and say, okay, now I understand. So I think I knew as a kid if I would have gone and been a clothing designer, just out of college,
Yeah.
I would have been working from someone else as a staff designer or something along those lines. And actually, I knew that as a kid. I have no idea how I knew that, but I knew that as a kid. And I'm gonna throw some out here and I hope nobody says anything negative. But I said, I don't want to end up being a staff designer working at Kmart. So I remember saying that as a kid. So I don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I know that I had to go on this path because God knew you have talents and you can connect with people as a physician and you can help people. And this is something that needs to be nourished. However, when you do this, you can use this. Now you can circle back and give back to that community that you spent all this time as a physician. And you can come back and say, yes, I'm doing some clothing design. Let me do it for the people I've worked with these 30 plus years.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is amazing. But, you know, it's one thing to have a dream, is another to kind of, because a lot of people have dreams, it's another to take a step to actually actualize that dream.
Yes.
When did you start saying, okay, I know I'm doing this and I'm, now I'm using it to just kind of relieve my stress, but that's not all this dream is meant to do. Because
Hmm.
that dream was serving you as a stress reliever, but you
Yes.
knew that it was meant to serve others. It's
Yes.
one thing when your dream is, because when it's just serving you, you can contain it. You can contain the expectations. But when you want to then serve others, then there have to be certain demands then placed on you. When did you transition from, okay, now my dream needs to serve others? And how did that look like for you?
So I have a very close friend who we lived together in college and in grad school. She was
Yeah.
in law school as a med school. And we always said we're going to make a clothing line. Well, she actually did it 10
Oh,
years before me, she and her
oh wow.
daughter. So they're out doing the thing, and I'm going, wow, we talked about this. She's
Yeah.
out doing it. I mean, she is doing it. I said,
Yeah.
you know what? I can do it too.
Yeah.
And then I said, if I just do something on a small scale, I sew for people, or I have something at a little fair and I have my little crafts out and sew for people, would that satisfy the need
Yeah.
to be a clothing designer? Would that be a large enough scale
Yeah.
for me? Or would I always say, I wish I would have gone bigger?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I had to figure out, if I go bigger, what am I going to do? And I have to do something that fulfills a need for someone else,
Yeah.
not just because I like it. If I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
something that's just I like it, it would have been denim. I just love denim. But do we need more denim out there? No.
Getting scrubs. I don't know, but okay.
Right. But believe me, I thought about that. It's like, oh yes. But I thought back on as a kid, buying jeans and then the 501 jeans that you had to wash to shrink down to your size. And then they all had that stupid stick out in the back with your waist. And
Yeah.
then on the sew end, I said, oh, I needed something to fulfill that. And
Yeah.
when I think it was 25 years ago, I tried on a skirt at Old Navy,
Yeah.
tried on the size 4, 6, 8, and 10, and none of them fit. And I went,
Mm.
okay, it's the curvy thing again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to put these things together because I'm not the only one that has this issue, and I'm really not that curvy. If you look at people out there, I'm really not. So there's some other women who have issues way bigger than I do.
Yeah.
And that's really how that whole idea came to be.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So for those who are wondering, so that's pretty much the design behind your brand, and that's Valmasi. Where did that inspiration, even for the name, where did it come from?
Yes. So Valmasi comes from Almasi, which means diamond in Swahili, because I wanted
Mm.
something that was special.
Yeah.
So I said diamond is special. And then I put
Yeah.
the V in front, of course, for Vanessa. And that's
Yeah.
where Valmasi comes from. So I
Oh
just
wow.
be intentional about something that's special, something that has a foreign origin to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
to make it just sound, you know, intentional, special.
Yeah. Now, and for, I mean, there was a need and you had this dream and you did see this space, right? Because, I mean, we wear scrubs, right? And it became a whole thing during the pandemic,
Yes.
wearing scrubs. But then, you run into that issue with curvy women, right? Because some maneuvers in the hospital can make you look unprofessional, right? Because your scrub pants are, dropping. You're so conscious of having to do this before, and this is speaking from experience, right? You're so conscious of, oh, if I need to bend down and pick something in front of a patient, I have to make sure that
Mhm.
make this is tucked in, any moves like that, because all of the scrubs that are made out there were not made to fit the curvy women. Even the ones that they would say high waist still do not capture the entirety of what needs to fit.
The entirety of what needs to fit.
It still doesn't. And so you end up either having to wear something else on top of your scrubs, or you're getting a coat because you don't want to make that mistake of, you know,
Mhm.
something showing that's not supposed to show.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm really excited, about this. And like I said, I'm rocking mine, and it feels so comfortable. So now you have this, okay, now I'm going to go, scrubs is my thing, and this is a niche that I want to fulfill. Was it just something that was, because I don't even want to begin to imagine. I guess you've already been exposed to clothing, fashion, textile, but was it daunting for you to try to think of, okay, now I need to go source for material. Now I need to go source for who's going to, you already know the design, but like someone who's going, like the manufacturer, like what was that experience for you like?
So what I did during COVID, this was my stress reliever. And after I come home, just
Yeah,
freaked out about COVID, I was on webinars,
yeah,
free webinars on how to build your clothing business, how this. And that helped me to get an idea of what I could be doing. And
yeah.
because I'm in LA, there's a lot of resources around in LA. So I
Mm,
had a production manager. So she was pretty much running a lot of stuff during the day. When I was at work, she
yeah,
was going around and getting things and doing things. Um, and that was helpful. So she provided me some guidance of, hey, I do know someone who's a pattern maker who can do this. I know someone who can make our patterns digital, and
yeah,
then we can do this. I said, okay, great. You do this. I just cut the check, and then you go and do the thing.
yeah,
So I definitely needed that. I think that the downside of it is doing it during COVID, everything was very disjointed. Things, the supply chain was
yeah,
disrupted. So things weren't as smooth as they could have been. So now going forward, I would definitely do things a little differently because I have more resources here. And now that supply chains are back and I'm able to access things. But um it was definitely a learning experience,
yeah,
meeting people, and you have to get out there and just talk to people and meet them and find out what they do. And having her help to guide me on
yeah.
things I should ask, what I should be doing.
Oh
But
wow. So,
yeah,
I mean that sounds like what you're saying is you did not just have this dream and decide, I'm gonna do it on my own. Like you attended webinars, like you're intentional in what you consumed, right? So that when you start, you had a better chance of success than failure. I mean, it's one thing to have a dream, but then you have to implement it right,
right.
right? And so you went ahead to do that. Now, here you are. I mean, you're in the middle of your career, you're thriving, and then you tell your friends and family, "Hey, I'm starting a fashion line and it scrubs." What was that response for you like?
It's about time. That was the response. They're like, you've been talking about this for all your life.
Oh wow. Oh
Oh yeah,
wow.
so they were not surprised. They said, "We're surprised you haven't done it already." So yeah,
Oh, so this was a dream that even though you,
everybody knew.
oh wow.
Everybody. I mean, even the medical director of the hospital, she knew. Everybody knew. But I was intentional because I said, I'm going to keep talking about it and I'm going to
Mm.
tell everybody because that way I keep it on my mind and I keep it as a focus. And I was very intentional to tell people. I will tell my story to anybody. So I kept it in my mouth.
Oh wow. I mean, it just speaks to the intentionality of your dream, right? Because a lot of times, we have dreams, but fear keeps us from saying these things out because
Mhm.
then we're like, okay, if it doesn't come to pass, folks will be like, oh, you talked about it, but you never did it, right? But you were very intentional with your words and you kept speaking. I mean, you kept speaking into what for the atmosphere, like you kept speaking to your environment that this is going to happen, this is going to happen. You kept the dream alive, not just in your mind,
Yeah.
right, but also with your words. And so when it came that time for it to happen, folks are like, yeah, sure, because there's sometimes you hear some folks they tell you they want to be like, oh. you want to do that? Okay. We didn't even know that that's something that you
Right.
even thought about because
Hmm.
they didn't talk it out of either fear or intimidation. They just kept it to themselves. But you didn't. You kept talking about it, and our words are powerful, right? And now your words have come to like physical manifestation. So that's such an awesome lesson. I would say we will learn from you, Dr. Vanessa, that if you have a dream, I mean, even though you don't know how it's going to happen, just keep talking about it. And one day you meet the right people. And like I said, now your friends and family knew and they were just ready to just like, okay, yes, it's our time. Go for
Yes.
it. And, we're here to support you all the way. So how has that, to be able to finally reconnect with a dream that you've held for decades, what did that do for you emotionally and mentally?
Um, I think it was more of a release and a relaxed
Hmm.
feeling I had
Hmm.
because as I was coming up toward my retirement, I I kept saying, okay, it's got to get here, it's got to get here, got to get here. And it was almost an anxiety inside, like I have to get to starting the clothing line. I have
Yeah,
to get to that. And I was able to calm that anxiety down by starting this. And people
yeah.
say, wait, you calm down your anxiety by starting the clothing line? I say, yes, because if I didn't, that anxiety would still be there. And
Yes.
like, I don't want to live with regret. So I have to
Yeah.
do this. And I
Yeah.
have to go through the journey to see what's on the other side.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So yeah, I mean, just, we don't have a long time here, right? I mean,
Mhm.
everyone, you come here, you live life, and then you go, right? But then being able to look back and say, I did what was in my heart to do, right? And one of the some of the training we get as physicians is we're so scared of failure,
Mhm.
right? Because so one of the things that holds us back is because medicine is such a science to it, but then business and entrepreneurship, it's a whole
Right.
different ball game, right? So I mean, what was the mindset shift that it took you to say, to take off your medicine and your doctor hat to say, now I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Like I'm the one that it stops with me. I make the decisions. If it fails, it's all on me. Was there a certain mindset shift you had to get you to accomplish that?
That's still happening. It's not completely done. It's still
Yeah,
happening. Remember, as physicians, we make decisions all day.
yeah.
So I tell people MD means make decisions. So I tell myself, I have been used to making decisions, and
Yeah,
you have to make the call for whatever it is that you're doing for your patient. So
yeah.
same for your business and say, I am making the call, and this is what decision I'm making. And remember, nobody's going to die
Hmm.
if I chose the wrong fabric. Nobody's going to die if I put the wrong photo on the website. They're just,
Yeah,
like, okay, well, it was the wrong photo. Okay, just all right,
yeah,
we'll just fix it.
yeah.
I think that fear of failure, that's probably the biggest one because as physicians, we always want to be right. We
Mm.
want to make the rules. We want
Yeah.
people to listen to us. That's how we're trained. So with this issue now, it's like, okay, I'm making a decision and I want it to be the right decision. Or
Yeah.
I'm making these scrubs and I want everybody to love them. So I had to get through that to say, okay, you know what? You make a decision. Everybody's not going to love your scrubs. They're
Hmm.
not going to fit everybody. And it's not going to be perfect the first time out, too. Like, hey, this is a process. I mean,
Hmm.
there are scrub companies out there who will be nameless,
Hmm.
who have been doing it for many years. So
Hmm.
you see 10, 12 years of perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got barely, 15 months. So, so if you saw them at their beginning, it didn't look like what you see now.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
have to keep telling myself, it's like, hey, I'm on the same track. I'm just 12 years behind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'm learning my lessons, but I'm talking to people. And it is, as long as I get people to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm here. I'm trying to do this for you. I need you to tell me what you need and what you want.
Yeah.
And then I will keep going. I'll keep fighting all those fear mongers that are in my brain. Like, I just need feedback so I can keep going
Yeah.
and making this work.
Yeah. Oh wow, that is awesome. MD, I remember that MD stands for making decisions, and so be it in the clinic or whatever,
Hmm.
you just make the decision. And like I said, it's not for business entrepreneurship. No one's gonna die, you
Right.
know. No one's gonna come back and say you gave me something like, you know, the
Yeah.
the business, you just go ahead and do it.
You just do it.
Uh,
Yeah. And yeah, you lose money. Like, okay, well, I know that's a risk,
yeah,
but
yeah.
you could make it. So it's a gamble.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And do you think that there were things, at least from in your medical training, that are helping you right now with in terms of your business? Like, how would you say that has benefited you in the business so far?
Probably not the medical training, but probably the practice.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
medical training, you're always just trying to be right and you checking off the boxes and making sure the potassium
Yeah.
is right. That's your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But in practice, and it's you're always on. Your patients come in, they have problems. You got to be you got to be a smiley face, you got to be paying attention, you got to give them your all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that ability to say, I am always on and ready to go, that's how it is with your business. If you're in a
Yeah.
situation, you're networking, you need to always be on. Got the scrubs, you got something, got to have a business card, got to be ready to say, oh, you know what? Hey, this is what I have. Oh, nice to meet you. Guess what? Always on.
Yeah. Yeah. So just being ready to show up at any point in time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, with the business, I mean, when you started, was everything, did it just line up like you just, the materials and you got all this and everything just, wow, it's just thriving? Or can you tell us some challenges that you kind of
Oh
faced
man,
initially when you started?
so many challenges. I wish I didn't have all these challenges. But then I say that, but that's how you learn. I mean, yeah, there's
Yeah,
challenges where, people say, get a good person to do your website and do this particular um, website company,
yeah,
and you have to get your social media marketing done this way, and you
yeah,
have to do this, and you have to get your fabric from here, and don't manufacture in United States. I mean, there's just all these other things, and
yeah,
yeah, I made mistakes on. I mean, my website's been done multiple times over and over, and photo shoots I've done, like, oh, the lighting was terrible, got to do them again. And yeah, I mean, yes, I've spent money on things like the same thing for like two, three
yeah,
times.
yeah, yeah,
Instead
yeah,
of the same thing. But I think you have to go through that because you don't know what you don't know.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then once you do it, then you say, okay, now I know. These are the expensive lessons you have to pay. Because if you
yeah,
didn't have any bumps in the road, I kind of think you wouldn't learn as
yeah,
much,
yeah,
you know? So
yeah.
that's how I have to look at it. So you know what? The money is gone. The lesson is here, but the money is gone.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that being an entrepreneur, I guess, or being in business, it affords you that ability to fail, right? But then the thing is always failing forward, right?
Yeah,
Is where you fail and like, okay, well, probably shouldn't have done that. Or, I mean, like I said, this is you're networking, right? You're meeting people. People are telling you they have all the skills, and you're trusting that they have the the right skills.
yeah,
But then you discover that, okay, no, that's your skill level is not at the one. It's what I not what I thought it was, and then okay, I'm not using you. So it's a new territory, right? Except for physicians, when you step into any type of business, you're going to um, have pitfalls, but as you have said, I mean, you had all that. It wasn't like you just got in there. It's like, oh my God, yeah, everything's, rolling and we're just, making money. You're spending money. So it's like, I'm spending money again, but then it's not giving up and then knowing what it is inside of you, that dream, that calling, because I would say yours is a calling, right? That calling, that purpose, and just say, okay, if it's been in me for so long and God has not allowed this die, then it must be here for a reason. And I have to live it out to the optimum that I can do. So thank you for pushing through, in spite of all the challenges. You are a great example in that sense. Now, you're still practice. Are you still practicing right
I
now?
do. I just
Okay.
practice as a per diem now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that way I don't have a panel. I don't have that same responsibility because it would be hard to work full time and do
Yeah.
this. Just wouldn't happen. But I still enjoy when I go, I see some of my old patients and they go, "Oh, I saw you on Facebook." And
Now, was it a challenge for you, however, just like leaving the security of full time? Because I mean, you know how you know what the check is going to look like, right? You know, that's already settled. And then you're going into then you're shifting per diem, and it's like, okay, things are not gonna look the same, and I have to, lean towards the business. What were your fears with that, and how did you overcome that?
It's so funny. I mean, technically, I retired, so I
Yeah.
do get, some money, but yeah, it's definitely less. So I said maybe the first couple of weeks, I was really anxious. I'm going, wait, what did I do? What did I do? Maybe I should go back. So I scheduled myself, for, a couple of days. And then I think I must have worked 2 days in a row. And I went, oh no, 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 no. No, 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 we're not doing that again. So, so it's funny, you sit there and you say, okay, look, you went through the finances, we went through it, your house is not going to fall apart. I'm not going to be on the street. It's okay. So
Yeah.
we're just used to getting that check. You know what it's going to be, and you just know.
Yeah.
And then after you realize, you say, well, I don't have to have that much money.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I really am okay. And you calm down after a couple
Yeah.
of weeks and you say, okay. And then you go, well, the clinic is functioning without me. How can they do that?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you go through that, and then it's a little separation anxiety where you realize people can do things without you. So you'll find out as a physician because your patients, these are my patients, and I take care of them very well. We have that.
Yeah,
And
we
when you're
do.
not taking care of them, you're thinking, well, someone is just doing something with my patients. They're not your patients anymore. They're people who now have new doctors.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yes.
and I totally do understand that. I understand. Like, I mean, I moved from a previous clinic, and so I'd had this panel of patients for years, right? And
Mhm.
I was the sole physician there. I had a, nurse practitioner who were part-time, a lot. Like, I just felt like they were mine. And then, so when I had to transfer, there was that huge burden. I was like, who's gonna look after them? Like, how are they gonna thrive? And, the clinic and, well, you discover it's funny how we make ourselves. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but especially when you have those patients that tell you, "Oh, don't leave. I don't know what I'll do without you.
Right.
Oh, who will take care of me?" And then
Right.
you realize that you only see these patients twice a year.
Yeah.
Or if it's a chronically ill patient is always there, even if you see them every month, it's like 12 times
Mhm.
12 days out of 365 days, right? And so they can actually live lives without you. They're doing that already, right? You
Right.
don't have to carry that guilt or that burden saying that you want to fulfill your own dreams or your passions, and then you sacrifice it at the altar of people who only get to see you get to see you
Right.
twice a year. Like
Yes.
it's not realistic. It really isn't. But like I said, it's just something about us where we feel like this burden. But then like I said, when you you realize, oh, they're doing fine.
Hmm.
Like they're seeing a new person. And their health is still doing great. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was important, but I'm not that important where I can't do other things, right? I can't live the life or fulfill my dreams, and do what like follow my calling or follow my passion. And so, if there are physicians, who are, clinical medicine, I mean, and you're thinking, what's going to happen to my patients? I promise you,
It'll be fine.
they'll be,
They'll be fine.
they absolutely like they will thrive. Hopefully they get a good physician, but they will thrive even without you there. So, um, Yeah, I'm glad, like I said, just you living it out and I mean, you went through all the steps in your mind and you were able to overcome it. And you're like, okay, I'm just gonna kick this off. Now, we're from a purpose standpoint, I mean, you've had this journey from clinical practice. Now you're in this space with designing. Um, from a purpose standpoint, what does fulfillment look like for you now compared to when you started your career?
You know, it's I don't know if it's really different because I still enjoy seeing patients. I still enjoy teaching them about things. I still enjoy talking to students to help them get better. I think for me, as long as I'm giving something that makes something better for someone
Yeah,
else,
yeah,
that's my fulfillment.
yeah,
So in whatever it is, if it's, if it's this, or if it's the clothing, and people say, "Hey, I really like this because I feel I could fit my scrubs better. I feel like
yeah,
I don't feel like I'm bending down and I'm showing too much to my nurses or
yeah,
something, and
yeah,
then that would make me feel good. If a patient
yeah,
came back and said, "What you told me helped me with my diabetes, and now my sugars are better controlled," I'm feel good, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
Yeah, or students said, "I talked to you such and such years ago, and I'm applying to medical school." Oh, great. I feel good there too.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
to be helpful. I
yeah,
think that's what we all really should be. If we all learn to help each other
yeah.
and give to the community instead of worrying about how much we get from the community, I think that would make things a lot better.
Oh, wow, awesome. Now, where do you see, I mean, so where you're in the space, how has been the reception been with your scrubs, and where do you see in the next 10, 20 years, where do you see Valmasi?
So the reception has been good for the ones who tried it and they
Yeah,
decided, yes, I'm going to do it. And they put them on. They say, yeah, I like it. I like how it fits on my curves. I feel like I have more room in my thighs
yeah,
or wherever, the pain points are.
yeah,
So that makes me feel good. I know that I'm on the right track because that's
yeah,
what this is. It's okay. I need to step into the ring and start figuring it out and getting to people so that I know I'm on the right track. And as long as I get people giving me feedback, I can still get on the right track. So I would like to get this to what point where if you think, hey, I'm curvy, what do I do? Oh, I have to go to Valmasi Scrubs
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'll be the go-to.
Well, that is awesome. And like I said, I love mine. They look pretty, they look pretty nice. I've never, like I said, they're different, they're unique. And everyone who's watching, like you can pretty much see the layout of it, right? It's nice.
Yes.
I love the material, I like the feel of it. And more important, like you said, I'm sitting and I don't feel like I have to keep like adjusting from behind. Like I don't feel like who's behind me now, like make sure that nothing is showing. So I think, you zoning on a niche and I'm rooting for you and hoping that, once pharmacy is mentioned, then you just think, okay, curvy. So yes, and then I mean, as we're gonna do all the best we can to support you in this venture. Now, from a business standpoint, did you take any like training courses for business or
Those were all the webinars.
okay,
So
okay,
the
okay.
webinars I mean, there are a lot of different free webinars out there. I'm on YouTube. I'm
Yeah,
on a Score, if you
yeah,
score.org. They have all these different places where you can get training. And that's
yeah,
pretty much what I did. A lot of it
yeah,
was free or nominal fees.
yeah,
And
yeah,
just taking things over and over, classes, tons of notes
yeah.
and books,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, so if you're a physician and you're thinking like Dr. Vanessa, I mean, what she did, it doesn't have, she looked for free resources, right? She put herself, she learned the skills that she needed. Because no knowledge is not congenital. I always like to say, a friend of mine told me that it's like, if you want to know about business, it's not, you then just up and get it done. Like there's certain things, fundamentals, you got to read books. You have to hear wisdom from other people who have done this. And she's right now, she's done it and she's living her purpose. through her scrubs. So that is awesome. Now, what would you say to a physician who maybe they've buried a dream because of their career? Like, what would be your advice to them?
I would say find a way to unbury it. And you may not be able to do it full force like you may have imagined years ago, but if you find a way that you can do it or at least prepare and say, yes, I want to do this in 10 years. What little preparations can I do now to get
Yeah,
me there? Because I think having that, giving you something to look forward to, helps with the stress and the burnout that we have.
yeah,
Because a lot of
yeah,
times when we have burnout because we don't have choices and we don't have anywhere to go. You feel like everything is out of your control.
yeah, yeah,
So if you have something that is you, this is my passion, I want to do that. That means that's something that you control.
yeah, yeah,
And then that helps to ease some of that burnout because you have
yeah,
this other thing that you can separate from medicine and then focus over here.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if it might take 10 years to get there, I mean,
yeah.
I've been in this dream for 45 years, so
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, you've heard Dr. Vanessa, it's never too late. You can resurrect your dreams.
that's
Like
right.
wherever you buried them, you can go and unearth them and just start somewhere. Like just, you never know, just start talking to people and you may discover that, once someone knows that that's something you're interested in, like, hey, I know this, I know that. Because I think you had shared that part of your connections of how your network grew was someone said, hey, I know this person who does it. But if you don't know, if no one knows about what you desire, chances are it will never come to you. So just talk about your dreams, resurrect them, and you just never know where it'll lead to. So if someone, Dr. Vanessa, thank you so much. But if someone wants to get a pair of these and look as cool as I'm looking right now, um,
Yes.
as we are looking, because we're tuning right here,
Yes.
where can they go get this?
So my website is valmasi.com. So Valmasi is spelled VALMASI.com. And Instagram and Facebook, you can follow me at Valmasi Scrubs and TikTok, Pinterest, Threads.
You're an all the hey, that's the era we live in now. You have
Right,
to
it
be
really is.
you have to be plugged in on anything. Awesome. Well, I would definitely be putting your links in the show notes. And so
Appreciate
if
it.
you're a physician and you're listening and that's been a problem that you've been dealing with, hey, we have another physician who solved the problem for us. You can absolutely appear professional in your scrubs.
Yes,
So you have the blue, the black, and the gray
yes.
currently on your website. And I picked blue because I don't think I've had a shade of blue like this.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've had black and everyone gets a black scrubs. I'm like, I just wanted something unique and something different. And this color, just a different, you know, look, the different color kind of appealed to me. And so I'm excited. And I will, I'm going to take a picture pretty much on Instagram and give you all the full view and
Yeah,
tag Dr. Vanessa
love it.
so you all can see that it's such a great fit. But thank you. You've been an amazing physician's keeper today. You've shown us that it's never too late to live your dreams and whatever it is that you have a mind to do, and just to go ahead and do it. Start small if you want to, but just find what it is that has spoken to you. Don't be quiet about it, because Dr. Vanessa wasn't, and you just never know the doors that will be open. So it's been an awesome pleasure having you here today. And if
Thank
you're
you.
listening, thank you so much. If you're listening and you have a story you want to share, this is Physicians Keepers, is what we do. We highlight, different stories, our different journeys as physicians. Send me a message, connect with me, drremla@gmail.com. And we'll be glad to have you here, and so that you can inspire people with your story like Dr. Vanessa has. You can give people something to look forward to with their lives and with their careers. And you can be an awesome and amazing physician's keeper, just like Dr. Vanessa has been today.
Thank you so much. I've had a lot of fun. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been an awesome pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Physicians Keepers. I hope today's conversation gave you something useful to carry into your life or practice. If it resonated, share it with another physician who might need it. And if you have a story that could help someone else, I'd love to hear from you. Connect with me on social media or send me an email. See you in the next episode.